Then it was running back into the graveyard towards the dense patch of tombs. "What's happening?" Ajubaju blurted, beating the camel. Agatha spun to her friends. "Take cover!" Tetrus, Hot, Nicola, and Guinevere gaped at her. "Now!" Agatha cried. At full sprint, the camel threw itself against a tomb's obelisk, shattering Agatha's birdcage and spraying her to the dirt in a hail of wood. The camel bashed the Tetrus cage against a headstone, then Hot's cage against another, freeing the prisoners. Shell-shocked, Ajubaju seized the camel's throat, trying to strangle it. The camel reared like a horse, bucking the beaver off and pinning him to the ground with its hoof. Gobs of fire spewed from the camel's mouth, burning an outline in the dust around the beaver's body. The ground imploded. With a scream, Ajubaju plunged into the hole, disappearing into darkness. The camel shook out its fur as if it had hardly broken a sweat before surfing the stunned prisoners strewn across graves. It found the one it was looking for. Gently, it nosed Agatha out of her cage's wet cage and pressed its warm, scratchy cheek to hers. "Thank you, Princess." The camel bowed to Tetrus and her friends, then placed it into the forest. Flat on her back, hugging the face back, Agatha stared into the sky, stars winking down at her. None of her friends moved. It was so quiet, Agatha could hear the embers crackling around Ajubaju's new grave. "What just happened?" Hot wept, shaking wood out of his pants. Tetrus pulled Agatha up. "Whatever happened, I'm pretty sure I know who was responsible." Agatha blushed, holding tight to her prince's hand. Then her face changed. "Someone's here," she breathed. Tetrus and the others tracked her eyes down the slope. On Necro Ridge, shadows were coming out of a carriage. Agatha recognized the carriage at once. It was the same one that had taken away her best friend. 5 shadows tiptoed between graves until they got close enough to see. They hunched behind a tomb crowned with a wealth of flowers. Agatha peered out first. 2 pirates in Camelot's armor were digging up the snake's grave. Kay watched over these pirates, his arms crossed, the captain's face a cold mask. Soon, they'd dug enough for Agatha to confirm what she had already known. The grave was empty. Kay opened the carriage and the pirates reached inside, Agatha expecting them to bring out the king. Instead, the pirates brought out something else. A body. Quickly, they lowered the corpse into the snake's grave and began refueling it. "Who is it?" Nicola asked. "Who are they burying?" "I can't see," said Hot, leaning further over the tomb. He knocked it into the wealth and it spun away, smacking into an adjacent headstone. Case refolded in their direction. Hot plastered to the ground. "He saw me," the whistle croaked. "Definitely saw me." "They're coming for us, then," said Guinevere. "Lace your clothes," Agatha ordered. They waited behind the tomb, fingertips lit, prepared to defend themselves. Minutes passed. No one came. Slowly, Agatha peered out. The snake's grave was filled in. Down the ridge, the pirates were climbing back into their carriage. Agatha crawled out from behind the tomb. Tetrus squeezed her hand. "Wait for me," The prince followed her into the moonlight. Both of them froze. Kay was watching them. He stood on the snake's grave, his face half lit by the torches, his eyes pinned on the prince and princess. Panicked, Agatha shielded Tetros, her finger claw aimed at the captain. But Kay didn't attack. He just gazed at her, not with anger or threat, but with something softer. Sadness. Mourning. The captain kneeled down and laid a rose on top of the snake's grave. Then he glanced back at Agatha and Tetros one last time before he hustled to join his men. Agatha watched the horses quietly pull the royal carriage back into the night, stars moving against the horizon as if to make way for it. Tetros, meanwhile, was already scrambling downhill. He flung himself to the snake's grave and started scraping away dirt with both hands. "What is he doing?" Guinevere asked Agatha, as Hot and Nicola rose from the ground with them. But now, Agatha was running too, the face back pounding her flank. By the time she got to the snake's grave, Tetros had lurched back in surprise. Ryan's tanned face lay uncovered. Blood coated the king's hairline. Deep, needle-like runs, flecked with black scales, dotted the sides of his neck. Agatha's heart plundered. "He's... dead," Tetros stammered. "Ryan, how can he be dead?" "And looks like he has been dead a while, at least a day," said Agatha, studying the corpse. She drew back, her body stiff. "Tetros, on his neck, those are scream ones." She looked at her prince. "Japheth killed him. His brother killed him." "None of this makes sense. Sophie's marrying Ryan. That's what Lion's Mane says," Tetros insisted, checking the announcement in the sky, still beaming bright. "If he has been dead for a day, that means the message went up around the same time, which means Sophie's marrying Japheth," said Agatha. "She's marrying Japheth. Sophie's marrying the snake. That's the only reason they would be burying Ryan in this grave secretly in the middle of the night. Japheth's going to pretend to be his brother. He's going to wear his crown." "The snake," Tetros said, a choked whisper. "The snake's king?" His throat bobbed, his eyes fixed on the king's lifeless face. Ryan had been his moral nemesis. Tetros had wished nothing more than to see him dead. But that's the problem with wishes. They need to be specific. Now Tetros was faced with an enemy far more deadly and deranged. A snake masquerading as a lion. A snake on his father's throne.